Hi. Can we all just take a collective deep breath? Maybe 3 deep breaths. What a week it's been. Let's face it, it's been a few months, but it, for me, was market prep leading up into a fantastic market, and then sudden, what feels like chaos, right? We saw it coming, but I don't think any of us knew what it would really feel like to be here. Lots of deep breaths. So, this is sort of going to be a regular FlossTube, and sort of not. I haven't had a chance to go back and read comments from my last video or the video before that, so I know there's a few threads I've left hanging, and I will pick those up again and maybe even record another video in a couple weeks instead of waiting a whole month. It's been a wonderful, terrible, thrilling, and exhausting time for all of us. And each of us have been impacted in different ways, and I just wanted to add my voice to those who are broadcasting, to help us all feel like we're still connected. We're still connected. And can you imagine a virus like this sweeping through our country even 20 years ago, when we didn't have social media platforms so readily available? How isolating that would have been. Now, granted, the panic and fear and anxiety may have been lower because our access to information wasn't as ready back then. But I myself am so thankful for the technology we have today. We had to cancel a church leadership meeting last night. Sort of. We actually met on Zoom, and it was so nice to see the faces of friends right there on my computer screen, and we had a real live conversation in real time. And that's just incredible that we can do that. And so, anyway, that's why, primary reason I'm recording today. I did want to catch you up on just me in general. We are doing really well. You've probably heard stories that Washington State has been hit really hard. It was sort of ground zero, and we're just across the river a little ways from Washington, and the virus is spreading. I don't know of anybody in my community that has it, although I just chatted over the fence with my neighbor, and her daughter has a terrible cough that's in her chest, and she's worried that it could be the virus, but she's been on the phone with their doctor, and she knows what to watch for, and it's possible that it's just a cold. Allergies, colds, that sort of thing this time of year are so rampant. Influenza B was going through our community in waves shortly before I left for Nashville, so who knows what it is. Everybody, I think, is a little on edge. I have another friend in town who is quarantined herself also because of a cough, and so I love that we're all being so careful. Yes, we've been told to be, and some of us kicking and screaming, some of us with joy and happiness that we can live in seclusion without fear of condemnation. Hello, introverts of the world. I say that lightly, knowing that this is a serious issue. Don't get me wrong, but now I just lost my train of thought. That's okay. You've heard it all from other people. My voice isn't going to add that much to the mix. It's just me saying hi. So, a couple things I wanted to tell you about. One is I never caught you up on the charity charts that I did last year. I started January of 2019 with 4 words to live by that were sold exclusively through my Etsy shop. And the reason I did that is because each one benefited a different charity, and I didn't want to water down that dollar amount in any way by distributing it and taking a cut. So $10 a chart went to each of 4 different charities. The 4 charts were all passages of scripture, each one with an emphasis on what I thought was a different word. Faith, hope, love, and justice were the 4 words. And I was super thrilled about the dollars I was able to donate to these charities because of you. Compassion International is a child sponsorship program or organization, not program, nonprofit. We were able to give $375 to that charity over the course of the year. Preemptive Love Coalition is an organization that provides aid in war zones, specifically in the Middle East, but they also work with refugees around the world. And we were able to give $485 to them. Let's jump ahead. A21 is an organization whose mission is to abolish slavery by the 21st century, or in the 21st century. And they do that primarily through ad campaigns, but then they also work with law enforcement, and pretty cool the things that they're doing. And we were able to give $485 to them together. And then Cure.org is an organization that goes into third world countries and performs medical surgeries and such on children, specifically cleft palate and encephalitis and some of these conditions that are they're curable through surgeries, through knowledgeable surgeons, but in third world countries where they don't have access to that type of medical intervention, often these families are ostracized and the children are raised literally in the dark in their homes, because if their families let them out, they'll be laughed at, cruelly treated, and ostracized. So grand total from those 4 charities was $2,100 that we gave, and that makes me so happy. Those charts, by the way, are still, well, my Etsy shop is not open right now. They are still in my Etsy and will continue to benefit those 4 charities. And, you know, I may have completely tapped out the people who want to stitch all black letters on linen or whatever color of your choosing. And I may come up with another option moving forward to benefit those charities again. These are 4 organizations that my family personally already gives to on a monthly basis, and so it was just nice to add to it. And then in December, some of you may know, I offered an instant download chart for that month of December. 100% of the proceeds after the fees were covered went to an organization in our area called Outgrowing Hunger, and we have a really good friend who founded this organization, and they specialize in community gardens, and most of the people that work these patches of ground are refugees and immigrants from around the world. And we were able to give $1,000 in 1 month to that organization. And I asked my friend, what he would be able to do with that. And he said that's enough to sponsor 12 families for an entire year. How cool is that? 12 families who are just desperate to be able to grow some food to feed their families, we were able to sponsor. So, over $3,000, y'all. That makes me happy. I'm thrilled. Thank you. Thank you. And stay tuned because it was so much fun. I'm going to do more of the same. Market. You've heard all the stories. You've seen all of the stash. I don't know how much more I can add to it other than that. You gave me so much love for my Consider the Lilies, and it's hard to describe what it feels like to be a designer who, I get this idea and getting it translated with thread onto linen. I hear a hummingbird. I thought maybe the hummingbird feeder is right up here by my head, and I thought maybe it was going to come in for a visit. For me, just creating this and finishing it was so satisfying and fulfilling. I'm pleased with how it turned out, and I honestly would have done it just for myself. If the whole internet, our connection through social media, if all of that, if the electric grid went down beyond just surviving, making sure we have food and water and shelter, I would still do this for myself because I enjoy it so much. But to be able to do it and also be paid for it is a dream. It really and truly is. I don't think I can say it often enough. I didn't know that this was my dream job, but I fell into this quite literally. Someday I'll tell you the whole story if you haven't already heard it. And I just smile all the time because I'm doing something that I truly love, and it's highly rewarding. And this community that we're a part of, the cross-stitch world, is generally speaking so kind and generous and gentle. This industry is a therapy, right, to so many of us. Just the action of stitching is therapeutic. We love to dream about which project we're going to finish next, and anyway, I am just thrilled to be a part of it, and so thankful to all of you that place pre-orders with shops. Thank you for supporting those local needlework shops. Don't forget about them in the next few months. Many of them are still operating even if their doors are closed. And I know that right now you are probably flooded with stash from your market pre-orders, and you're doing good. You've got lots to work on. But think about those needlework shops in another month when the market floodgates have shut down to a trickle and they're trying to figure out how they're going to continue in the changed nature of our society. I personally see that it's probably going to be at least a month before things start to look more normal, and that might even be optimistic. I don't know. We're all reading and hearing the same news reports, and I think that probably what I'm hearing is it's going to be about 18 months before they've got a vaccine. That's an estimate. And really, until we get that vaccine, we're going to have to be very careful and social distancing. The economy's taking a hit, and people are getting laid off, and I realize that that's going to change the face of how we stitch. If you're one of those people that just lost your income for a period of time, just enjoy that stash that you already have, right? I'll talk about it in a little bit, but there's a group of us designers that are putting out some free charts, all with the same theme, and you're not going to run out of things to keep your hands busy. So just remember that. Don't despair. Reach out to people around you. And FlossTubers, let's just keep putting new content out for people to watch. We're all going to be pretty stir crazy and bored. Not everybody has a huge yard like I do. I can get outside on a sunny day like today, which, hello, it's March in Oregon, and I'm out here and I'm not shivering and I'm not wet. I don't even know how this happened. I heard it was raining in Arizona yesterday, so you can take the rain, Arizonans. You get enough sunshine. I mean that all in jest. Rain's probably really good for your climate, right? Yeah. Anyway, I keep derailing my train of thought. So market was amazing. And again, my thanks to all of you. And I still have books. Maybe I'll talk about Etsy now. So my original plan was to open my Etsy shop at the end of last week, or maybe Monday. Today is Thursday. But what happened is, going into market this year, I knew based on how sales had been progressing over the last 6 to 8 months that I needed to bump my numbers up. And I did, by quite a lot, by really a lot on some titles, and I still ran out of some of them. And so my commitment to shop owners who come to me at market and I'm out of inventory is that as soon as I get home, I am going to get those back orders filled. So I spent a week printing, folding, stuffing, filling orders, and by Friday I had all of the back orders mailed out. Didn't get home until Monday night, so I feel like that's a pretty good track record. And in the meantime, I had been getting reorders from shops that did get everything they wanted at market. And so today is Thursday. I took the weekend off, okay? I've been working nonstop for literally months, so I took the weekend off. And starting Monday, I hit the ground running again. I picked up the rest of the books from my printer for Consider the Lilies and the Limited His Eyes on the Sparrow, because he's just this one-man shop. So he did half of the run before market and told me he'd have the other half when I got home. So picked those up on Monday and started filling reorders, and finally got what I thought was the last one out yesterday, and got home and there were a couple more, and I've received more since then. So it's exciting that you all keep showing so much love. I know I'm not the only designer that is scrambling to fill orders right now, and we are all collectively very thankful. So all of that to say, it makes no sense to me at this point to open my Etsy shop up. I know there are some of you that are waiting, and I'm just going to be frank. Right now, it's all I can do to stay on top of shop orders. And by the way, all distributor orders that have been coming to me, just regular restock, since before I left market, I have not been able to touch. And so that's what I'm starting in on tomorrow. I'm going to start my morning at the printer. I do all of my inner page chart copies in town because I don't have space here for a large printer. And then the little print shop in town does all of my fronts and my backs. So I'm going to be braving the germ factory of the world and going into the UPS store and making copies in the morning, and I'll spend my weekend filling distributor orders. So my Etsy shop is not going to open until the beginning of April, and I'm sorry if you're waiting, but honestly you can get any of my charts, most of my charts you could find out there if you're desperate enough to get them. And all of my new market releases you can find in many places. If you're struggling to find one, I will publish, let's see, how do I want to do this? I will make a list of shops, and I'm going to divide it into sections. Sorry if that's loud. Somebody is revving their engine and it's just echoing through the woods right now. Doesn't normally get that loud up here, but somebody's having fun out in the sunshine. Motorcycle, and I think they're coming up the road. Anyway, I'll make up a list of shops and I will categorize it. There are shops that buy from me regularly. I feel like you can't hear me. Can you hear me? By regularly, I mean they're either on my automatic shipment list, so every time I have a new release they get stock, or they order from me at least 6 times a year. We'll just put it out that way. And then the rest of the shops on the list will be shops that bought from me at market. I feel like I need to adjust the camera. Can you guys see me okay? This brightness down here. Hang on a second. Okay, maybe that's... Whoa, sorry. Okay. Alright, hopefully that's better. I didn't realize the contrast was so bad because I really can't, I can't see my little view screen up there very well. Okay, so I will put out a list for you of where you can potentially go find all of my new market releases and past releases. And worst case scenario, contact Janine at Acorns and Threads, because she's, I can literally drive to her shop in an hour and a half-ish if traffic is bad. Of course, right now traffic is not bad at all because everybody's working from home. I could drop ship to her too, and she's so close to me that any of my stuff that the distributor has even discontinued you can get. All of that to say, I don't feel too bad keeping my Etsy shop closed. Honestly, this month has been financially the best month I've ever experienced in my business, and so let's share the ordering love with other people. Sound good? So the plan is that in April I will open up when my Nashville exclusives are available, and that is the Consider the Lilies book and the His Eye is on the Sparrow limited book. I should still have some of those left. Once those are gone, they're gone. The pattern will still be available, but in the standard format. So watch for beginning of April for Etsy shop to be reopened, and until then, check my blog. Yeah, I think that's where I'll publish it. Check my blog. I know I hardly ever put anything on my blog anymore, but it's still there, and I'll put a link below. Check there, I would say by Monday, and I'll have a list there for you to go over in case you're needing somewhere to shop. What else? I do have a few things to show you. haul. I don't know why I feel the need to collect patterns when I go places. Part of it is supporting my designer friends, my shop owner friends. Part of it is inspiration. Stuff is blowing. I enjoy seeing what other people do. And so I guess you could call it research. I like looking at how other people format their patterns, and I sure hope I don't have to reshoot this video because of how loud that motorcycle is. It's highly distracting to me right now. But I pick up patterns, and I got a few. I didn't do a whole lot of shopping this year. It was a busy year. I socialized though this year more than any other year. It was my 6th year attending market, and I feel like the last couple years I didn't go out much. I maybe went out a couple times while I was in Nashville, and by out I mean getting dinner at a restaurant and not ordering in. And I determined ahead of time this year that any opportunity I got, whether it was me organizing a meal out or somebody inviting me to join them, I was just going to do it. I didn't want to have any meals in the hotel except for those that I'm grabbing in between customers when the market floor is open. And I succeeded. I had dinner with other designers that I have never shared a meal with before, and it was delightful to get to know these wonderful people a little bit better. So it was a more social market for me, and I took 0 pictures of other people's booths this time, and I usually try to do that for you, but there's a lot of people that took some great pictures, so you're not lacking. You aren't. You might think you are, but you're not. But I do want to show you what I did get. And first of all, I was the happy recipient of a couple of wonderful gifts. Do you see this? Okay, so this little bee skep in a pot is from my Festive Fobs series from the beekeeping edition, and I'm not gonna tell you who these came from because I didn't ask them permission to share, but this person I have known for a few years through cross stitching, and she didn't have to do this, but she did, and isn't it so cute? These buttons, or these pins, are, you probably know them, they're just pins by just another button company. I have not used their pins before. I don't know why, but aren't they adorable little bees? And a little cushioned, and then the buttons in there match the threads and the bees. How perfect is that? I am going to treasure this for years to come. And in keeping with the bee theme, I was also given this. Now, I was told that this was a, is it Tim Holtz? You can get the kits at craft stores, and this little bee design was from an old stitching magazine. But you all know me well, me and my bees. Hey, maybe I should put this on. Somebody's peeking at me from upstairs, spying on me. You want to say hello? If you talk loud enough, they'll hear you.
I figured you heard me on my conference call.
What else did I get? I was given, so Zappy Dots makes needle minders for me, and they have this new, I don't know if you've seen these, scissor fobs that are on a swivel clasp, and they put share the joy of needlework design in there. which was a collaboration with Country Stitchers. Hi, Liz and Deb. And I thought that was sweet. I'm not carrying these in my... Now there's a giant truck on the other side of me. That's what happens when it gets sunny in Oregon. All the bubbas are out with their motors. You could also use it as a zipper pull if you had a zipper with an eye that was big enough. These are new. I got these at Market. They're Pre-Max scissors. Good, he went in. I feel weird when people are listening to me while I'm talking to my camera. Speaking of scissors, I got myself another pair of Dovos. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you have never held a pair of Dovos in your hands or done this, it's the most satisfying. They just feel expensive. These are really cool. I think they're designed for Hardanger. And you probably can't tell, but the tip of the scissors there's like a little indent right there. Am I going cross-eyed enough for you? And so they're thinner here, so it's easier to get under your stitches. I'm excited to use these. And they came with a little leather sheath. This was another gift, completely unexpected and delightful. A piece of linen that is more than 125 years old. I haven't even unwrapped it from this beautiful seam binding. This linen has little bits of like the natural linen fibers still in it, and it's nubby and it's beautiful, and I may get brave and stitch on it someday, or I might just hoard it and hug it sometimes because it's gorgeous and has survived for this long. Far be it from me to make it not survive even longer. Anyway, beautiful and treasured gift. Thank you. You know who you are that gave it to me. The only other piece of linen I picked up was some lovely Weeks Dye Works. I'm pretty sure this is Aztec Red, and probably 32 count. And I have something fun planned for this. I don't normally stitch on colors, but this is like the perfect red, in my opinion. You couldn't get a better red in my book. Cookbook. There's a couple of cute free charts in there. If you all haven't grabbed a copy of this for yourself yet, I know that there's shops out there that are selling them. Surprisingly, this is likely the one that I will stitch out of all of them as a gift for a friend who is Jewish by faith. And I thought that was really cool that that was in there. It's, who designed this? Birdhouse Stitchery. Shalom Nashville is what it's called. I never even looked through my Market floor show floor. What do you call this? Show directory. Barely looked through it. And I usually take the time and I go through and I circle the ones that I have to talk to, and I put a star by the ones I want to talk to, and make another notation for ones that it would be nice if I could see these people, and I never even made it there. I did make it around the show floor on Friday night during early bird, and was able to pop in and see quite a few rooms, and Did I do any shopping that night? I think I mostly just said hello. Oh, that's when I bought the scissors. And then on Sunday I was able to get out and around and more so talked about business than did any shopping. But I did some shopping at Acorns and Threads last week. I bought this fantastic pouch from a Needlework Press. It's just a zipper pencil pouch, but it's a nice heavy canvasy fabric. A girl can never have too many pouches. I got from Acorns because Paulette was out at market. Sweetheart Hill. Absolutely adore this design, everything about it. I also got from Acorns by my lovely friend Stephanie for a needy. I've decided for the most part when I buy charts from friends, I'm going to buy smalls because I'm more likely to stitch smalls in between my own projects. This, however, is not small. Well, 141 by 141. But this little guy is only 51 by 51. Ink circles after the roses. Is this not the most beautiful combination of colors ever? Tracy just knocked it out of the park with that one. Also picked up at Acorns and Threads was Stitch in the Garden by Hands On Design, because it's fabulous. I think everything else, oh, nope, these Blackbird books I also picked up at Acorns. My Heart Can Rest. When I saw this one, when it came out, I don't know which retreat they taught it at, but I just fell in love with the colors and the simplicity of this design. The other one I picked up was Oh Joyous Day, and I picked this one up because they had the antique on display in their showroom at Market, and it's the coolest old sampler I've seen in a long time. I love it because it's so funky and modern looking, these flowers, and yet it was originally stitched in 1761. How cool is that? So I had to get a couple of Teresa Kogut's at Market, Bunny and Bee, because I'm all about the bees, y'all. And I only picked up one of her samplers. Isn't she knocking it out of the park? How many times have I said knock it out of the park? Her samplers were beautiful. So pretty. So I picked up Newcastle Bouquet. I had this thought that it might be fun to pick up like a big piece of linen, like a full yard. Just personal stash. And over the years, as I find these designs that I just am dying to have, but I don't have time to stitch the full thing, just to sort of appease myself, to maybe take like, well, this one is small, so I could do the whole thing, but like take the bird or the moth from this one and stitch it, and basically make like a giant spot motif sampler, but all of the motifs being from different designers. Like I could stitch these flowers from Blackbird, and I could put like, you know, this little wreath, this little, you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be cool? I might do it. Maybe it'll be a whole tablecloth that I would never want to eat on because it would be too precious. Are we starting to blow out the picture with sunlight again? It's a good problem to have. So I picked up a few more. I had to get Coffee First from Brenda Gervais because you all know I'm a coffeeholic. I got the Summer Bee drum that Becky Nolan designed. And you guys, this drum in real life, it's huge. It's like, so I just wanted to hug it. I wanted to hug her model. We did a little tradesy. Sometimes designers do that, and we traded charts, and this is what I got from her. I got Liz Matthews' freebie. She was just 2 doors down. What a delight it was to meet her in real life. What if I just shift to like this? Is that better? I of course got my hands on a copy of this, which is companion to one of my designs, also called Sewn in Friendship. I finally got a copy of Gerald from Kathy Barrick. I told her, I'm sorry, she might not have favorites, but Gerald is my favorite of her brothers. I've never met her brothers, but it's my favorite of her brothers' designs. I got from Liz Matthews her 2 bee designs, Be Kind, Be True, and Fractor Bees. I hope this video is not like terrible because I cannot see a freaking thing with that sun in my eyes. I am not complaining. Finally, I got, let's make us all dizzy at the same time. How's that? Now I can see. From Lone Elm Lane. Now, I love their wooden wares. They're really well made. They're beautiful. Some people might not like the price point, but she literally makes every one of those items by hand. None of it is factory manufactured. And having a husband who is a woodworker, by the way, want to see what I had all of my things in? He's been experimenting in his shop, and he made me this tray to my specs. I took it to Nashville with me and back just to show a few people, and it cracked. So he's still trying to figure out what woods work best, and is this something he might want to in the future sell. I would let him sell it in my Etsy, or maybe he would start his own, I don't know. But he's always enjoyed woodworking and hasn't done it for many years, and so he's been out in the wood shop doing stuff. So anyway, I recognize the work that goes into those wooden wares that Lone Elm Lane puts out, and they're beautiful. And she had some new, really large, she was out, so I didn't get one, but she's gonna send me one so I can design something for it. Big shaker boxes, like this big around. And she had 2 designs made specifically to fit on those shaker boxes, and I adore both of them. Come to the Water and In Thy Meadow. So that is 100% all that I brought home from Nashville with me. Other than lots of memories and orders to fill and dreams and ideas to keep me going for the next year. Relationships were expanded on, and it's a good time to be alive. We've got challenges ahead of us as a society, as a community, but it's a good time to be alive. And in that vein, I want to tell you about a conversation that started in the last couple days amongst some of us designers. I think Cecilia of Hand and Heart. Heart and Hand. I knew Hand and Heart wasn't right. Heart and Hand. She's my neighbor at Nashville, and we like usually get about this many throughout the weekend. I actually got a chance to hug her neck a couple times this year. We were like, let's hug now before, and she's literally shares a wall with me. That's how busy it gets. Anyway, she had an idea of a way that we as designers could help to support needle workshops that might be struggling. Talked about this a little bit earlier. And through the course of the conversation, which was contributed to by several different designers, someone came up with a hashtag, Be Well and Stitch. And the sentiment was that we wanted to come up with a bunch of free charts that would all say something along the lines of be well. I'm going to adjust this again so you can see that sampler behind me. Be well, and not just meaning be well in your health, but be well as far as your emotional well-being goes. So watch out for your mental health during this period of seclusion and isolation, fear and anxiety. Make sure you're not just falling into a deep well of despair. Okay? I mean, I'm laughing, but it's very real. It happens. I've been there. I've been there at several points in my life. Right now, things are well, and I'm not there, but you might be. And so, be well isn't just a lighthearted parting comment. It has a lot of layers of meanings to it. And so, you're going to start seeing pop up in social media some free charts that all revolve around that idea of be well. And I would just want you to know that the heart of behind it is pure as it can be. We really want you to be well. We want you to take care of yourself and your loved ones. And we also wanted it to be a way of encouraging you to remember your needle workshops. And you probably already are thinking about them, but we don't want any one of them to have to close their doors for good during this economic downturn. People are going to be hit, and it might be hard to spring back, but my encouragement to you is, when you start seeing these free charts popping up, you want to see mine? Here's mine. Mine has the hashtag, Be Well and Stitch, and then down at the bottom I said, and for Pete's sake, wash your hands. Have you seen the memes out there? Have you seen, there's a TikTok, I don't know. I don't really know what TikTok is, but I kind of know what TikTok is because I have kids. There's a TikTok, and it's this woman who must be a city official of some kind or a police official of some kind, and she's giving an address, and she's got this row of police officers behind her, and she's at the podium, and she's talking about, washing your hands, keep your hands off your face, because we know this is like the way that we spread the germs primarily. And as soon as she finishes saying that, she licks her finger and turns to help herself turn the page of her speech. We don't even realize it half the time when we do it, right? Rubbing our eyes. Anyway, for Pete's sake, wash your hands. Just me. I've always been a germaphobe. My poor kids have been indoctrinated from the time they could understand English. As soon as we get in the door, from being anywhere, we wash our hands. So it hasn't been a huge learning curve for us. But I still catch them with their hands on their face all the time. And when it's just the four of us at home, like it is most of the time these days, I don't worry about it too much. But when we're out, we were at the post office the other day, and it's one of those doors you can just lean on and it opens either way. It's a two-way door. No, my 12-year-old grabs it with her hands and pushes it open. I'm like, I just looked at her, and I looked at her hands, and she was like, I didn't have to say anything. Once a germaphobe, always a germaphobe, I guess. Anyway, that's my chart. I purposely chose some, you can stitch it in whatever colors you want. Is this still recording? I can't see. Yeah, we're almost at 30 minutes, not quite. But I purposely chose new colors that were just released at Nashville from Classic Colorworks and one from Weeks Dye Works. I did not, for some reason, meet up with the Gentle Art people this year, and so I don't have their new colors, so I couldn't chart for them because I need to have them in my hands to add them to my software, if that makes sense. And then I recommend stitching it on Picture This Plus, their new color Vellum. I think would be really nice. Oh, hey, check it out. I forgot, I pulled the linen and threads to show you. Can you even see? I don't know. I know I can't. Just enjoy the sunshine. You might not have sunshine at home. Just, you know, if you can't, if the colors aren't true because they're blown out, it's okay. Just enjoy the sunshine. So I purposely chose new threads and new linens because if you have the income right now, I would like you to wait until April. Okay, make a note to yourself. Get my chart, download it, print it off, whatever you do, and make a note on it. Pick a shop that is maybe one of the smaller shops, one that you've never bought from before. Write down their phone number. Maybe check in with them and make sure that they're still going to be taking orders next month. And wait until April. Right now they're getting income from market sales. Wait until April and then reach out to them and say, okay, could I get Picture This Plus Vellum? You choose what count you want. You're going to ask for Classic Colorworks, Chesapeake Bay, and Mariner's Compass. There's a couple of older Gentle Art colors on here, Maple Syrup and Ruby Slipper. And then, I don't know at what point of my last comment this cut off. If it missed anything vital, I'm not going to repeat myself. I'll just put the words below so you can see. Ah! It's the traveling FlossTube video. But look. There, now I just blinded myself. Alright. It is what it is. I didn't want to record in the house because it's so beautiful out here. And the wind chimes are dinging, and hey, that motorcycle finally stopped. And I wish you well, and I wish you peace, and I wish you a lottery winnings worth of toilet paper so that you can share it with your neighbors. And I plan to be back sooner than usual to check in with y'all. Until then, be well and stitch. bye.